There's more to imagine when you listen. So let your imagination soar with Audible. Audible has audio titles from every genre that will inspire you to imagine new worlds, possibilities, and ways of thinking. As an Audible member, you get to choose one title a month to keep from their entire catalog. Enjoy an exciting reawakening of a beloved classic with the Audible original David Copperfield by Charles Dickens, produced by Academy Award-winning director Sam Mendes, starring Ncuti Gatwa, Helena Bonham Carter, and Theo James. This adaptation breathes new life into a familiar tale. New members can try Audible free for 30 days. Visit audible.com/imagine or text IMAGINE to 500-500. That's audible.com/imagine or text IMAGINE to 500-500.
Are you struggling to close deals? Cold outreach is wasting the time of both the buyer and seller at every stage, especially when sellers are using shallow and outdated data. Your organization can overcome these challenges with technology that translates comprehensive, high-quality buyer data into real-time insights. These deeper insights empower sales reps and teams to adopt the habits of top performers, which leads to better outcomes, like more pipeline, higher win rates, and larger deals. We call this deep sales. And we've built the first deep sales platform with the next generation of LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Right now, you can try LinkedIn Sales Navigator and get a 60-day free trial at linkedin.com/trial. That's linkedin.com/trial for a 60-day free trial. Let LinkedIn Sales Navigator help you sell like a superstar today. Just go to linkedin.com/trial and get started.
Welcome to How to Survive, the show that teaches you how to survive the stuff that can kill you.
Like falling out of a window, or a crocodile attack,
Ooh.
or too much pot.
Nope. And the stuff that just makes you wish you were dead.
Like losing your lunch, or getting lost in a garden, or going green.
You know what? I want to play the theme song, don't you?
Yeah?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right.
Ground is shaking under our feet. Mountains on fire, flooding in the street. Can't breathe the air, can't fight the feeling. Gobbling down Xanax ain't the way to be dealing. Gotta do better than just getting high. We gotta stick together if we're gonna survive. Ooh, how to survive. Ooh, how to survive.
Wait, why is it 8 and 8? His name was 6 and 6, wasn't it?
Hail Hitler, HH88.
Oh, H is the 8th letter of the alphabet. Okay, got it.
Yeah. Thanks for explaining that. 'cause
No, I
just
knew it,
pretended.
and then I forgot.
Not comfortable how quickly I could rattle that off,
No,
by the way.
Hey, welcome to our show.
Are we on?
We
Should
are.
Start?
Yeah.
Okay, we've started.
We
were just light
riffing on-
Hitler talk before getting into our show.
Little white power stuff.
We were pretending that the symbol on Garen's hat was white power. I thought it was a snail. Then he said it was. Explain what you said it was.
It's the symbol.
No, don't say what. Just say what you said to me.
Oh, I said it's the Hidden Leaf Village symbol.
Okay, so when he said that, I was like, oh, what does that mean?
Yeah, I just kept thinking it was white power.
Yeah, but Hidden Leaf Village is
It's the
anime.
city from Naruto that Naruto and his friends are from.
That's
The
anime, right?
Yeah.
just bought a Naruto something for a kid, not
A
my
child?
own.
Yes, probably.
11 was it an 11-year-old?
6.
Oh, okay. I knew it was.
He was 6.
Okay. Oh, wow.
It is entry-level anime. Yes.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
But you like it.
I do. I enjoy it a lot.
That said, once I became aware of it, it's everywhere.
It is
It
everywhere.
seems to be. Do your kids watch Naruto?
No, they did, but they were younger.
They've outgrown it?
Yes, I think
They've
so.
outgrown this thing that Garen has on his hat?
Yes.
Teletubbies and Naruto.
I think my kids' Christmas list probably matches Garen's wish list.
Okay, very good. Okay, so my weekend was spent throwing up.
Oh, you poor thing.
So I saw Chris.
Was it that story I told you about Benjamin? It made you sick?
I'm going to ask you about that in a second. Well, here it is Tuesday. I drank Saturday night. I still don't feel 100%. So I'm
Yeah.
not really sure what's happening.
Yeah.
But in any case, now then I asked, how did your time go? Because I knew you were going to do something fun after I saw you.
So we went to Descanso Gardens.
Which, if you don't know, if you don't live in Los Angeles.
It is a beautiful, big walking garden
Gorgeous.
area. It's got all these different areas. It's very pretty. And then over the holidays, they have something called Enchanted, where you go when it's dark, and they have all of these amazing light displays.
Yes.
And you get cocoa and you walk around and you just look at the lights, and everybody loves it. Every age loves it.
Yes.
You can't not love it.
All of
Old people love it. Little kids love it. Millennials love it because they can do Instagrams. Gen X love it.
Oh, God. Did you see a lot of that?
I didn't see a lot of that.
good.
But I'm
good,
just
good,
saying,
good.
it's like, I don't think there's an age group that's like.
No, 100%.
Even tweens. Teens,
Yes.
they complain about going.
Okay.
Why do we have to do that? And then
do they?
Oh, yeah. And then they get there and they're having the time of their lives.
It's beautiful.
It's wonderful. So go get your tickets. Go to Descanso Gardens.
We did it last year. It
You
was
got to do it in
lovely.
advance because it sells out. Every time, every day.
Every time slot, yeah.
Sells out, except the super late ones because everybody has little kids. So we go to Descanso. We meet our friends who live in Santa Monica. We don't get to see them enough, and they're delightful. And our kids have known each other since they were like 1 year old.
Aw.
So they have two girls. One's like a year older than Alex, and one's like a little bit younger. So they the three of them just are like a little, gang
cute.
of hormones and, just like lip gloss. The three of them just are a little gang. And Benji, of course, is up ahead.
Okay.
Always. Because he loves to just go ahead.
Okay.
He always does. I think he just likes to be alone with his thoughts.
Oh, okay.
He wants to go think about fishing and Fortnite. He just
Which
wants
you
to.
can do in Fortnite. You can also fish
Oh,
Fortnite.
can you?
Oh, do you know who's in Fortnite now?
I heard, but
The
I don't
guy from
remember.
Family Guy.
Yes.
Peter
The
Griffin.
dad. Peter Griffin's in Fortnite. Big news, everyone. It's all
And someone else.
the talk in my house.
I just saw someone else. Oh, anyway, I don't know.
Doesn't matter. So he's
Is that
ahead.
what you call a cross promotion?
Fishing in Fortnite?
No,
Peter
Peter
Griffin from
Griffin,
Family
yeah.
Guy? I guess, because that guy from Family Guy needs more money. So he doesn't have enough. So he's going ahead of us. It's fine. He always does. We don't care, whatever. And, we're going through the different light displays. There's one that has, you would have liked this, Danielle, had all these modern interpretive dancers in full silver bodysuits.
Wow.
Doing modern dance around the light display. It was
Okay.
very stunning and, a little wacky.
Uh-huh.
And I was thinking, oh, this could be Danielle doing like modern dance.
This is
And-
my new career.
Your new
I'll
career?
Just join nutty dance.
God, I would love
Thanks,
that.
yeah.
And I had to, I'm morally obligated, or legally, I don't know really, to pretend to Alex that I was under the impression that we were supposed to, as people coming, join the dancers. And so I was
love
like,
it.
I think we're supposed to join. And she was like, no, you're not. No, you're not, Mom. And I was like, no, I think that's why they do it, is because they want people to come and dance with them. And she was like, do not. Like, she was just dying. I was never going to do it, but I just like to put her in these situations.
You know what's so funny?
Yeah.
I was thinking about this the other day because I have found it delightful when Oliver gets appalled at something I've said.
Yeah.
And I don't know why.
It's fun.
Because my dad does the same thing to me.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I was like, why does he think it's so funny when I'm annoyed by something
Yeah.
he said? But when Oliver does it, I think it's hysterical.
It's like I do it to entertain myself, and it's
Yeah.
terrible.
I'll just say something really dark, and
Yeah.
Oliver will go, "Oh, Mom," and it just makes me laugh so hard. Okay, so you did the same
So I was
thing.
doing that, and then the thing that was great about it was that there was another light display right next to that one that was the same thing that didn't have dancers around it, and there was a lone woman doing it.
Yes,
and so I even kind of had some evidence backing me up, right behind me, and I was like, "Look!" And she was like, "Please, Mom, please, Mom." And the two other girls were kind of you could tell they were not sure what to make of it, because it wasn't their mom, so they didn't have any skin in the game. And Benji kept going, do it.
Oh,
and
my God.
so of course I didn't. I just like to kind of
So
tease her.
she never catches on that you're joking.
She never knows, because sometimes I am and sometimes I do the thing, so she never knows what to expect. So we keep going. Benji's running ahead, and then we catch up to him. He's running ahead, and we catch up to him. He's running ahead, and then at some point he runs ahead, and then we don't catch up to him. He's just not wherever we go next. So we're fine. It's like, I'm like, it's fine. We'll catch him up to him at the next one. The place is huge though.
So I was going to explain for the audience. It's extremely dark.
Yes.
It's extremely big. And it's not like there's just one path. You could take other paths.
You can go all kinds of directions. Right. So then at one point, we're going to head off to another installation, and the girls want to stay longer, and I say, that's fine, you can stay with the dads.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead, I just haven't seen Benji in a while. And Alex goes, Benji's lost. And I was like, no, he's not lost. Everything's fine. Inside, I'm never worried that like anything has befallen him in the sense that like somebody's taken him. It's like a million parents. I don't think that ever.
Right.
I'm more like, he's maybe bummed that he hasn't seen us in a while. Like he's just on his own. I don't think he's scared. I think he's just like, it'd be nice to be with them. But she's immediately like really stressed. So I have to kind of be like, everything's fine. So now she's worried. Are you worried? Are you worried, Mom? I'm like, no, I'm not worried. Thing. So I'm now in like sort of calm down Alex mode. The Sven never has even realized that Benji has not been with us for a whole long time. Because he's just been talking to Greg in the back the whole time and just thinks Benji's with the moms.
Right.
So we're walking along different avenues. Finally, I send the dads to go look for Benji. And me and the mom and the girls go back sort of towards the front. I say, let's go look in the area at the entrance where you buy cocoa and where the gift shop is. Maybe he was like, I can't find them. I'm just going to go to the front and wait for them. He's not in the gift shops. He's not at the cocoa. And now Alex is kind of like white hot panic and crying. And I'm like, it's fine, honey. So I stop and there's a guy with a walkie-talkie and I say, can we go back out and come back in? He's like, sure, it's fine. I said, I just want to check and see if my son's out there. We haven't seen him in a little bit. I say, if you see a kid that just looks like he's not with his parents, looking around like he's looking for people, well, then he goes, what's he look like? And so I tell him and I show him a picture. Now he puts out like an all points bulletin to every person like on his walkie-talkie who also has a walkie-talkie. And it's a thing.
I'm sure they have to deal with this.
Which they have to do, I guess, which I wasn't like intending to do at all. Yeah. So now Alex really thinks it's an emergency, which it's totally not. But she in her mind is like, now it's a real emergency. And she's like, what if he's not okay? What if he's everything? And I'm like, it's totally fine. So while we're standing there, like the woman who's the director of, I guess, missing children comes over and is like, tell me what's going on. And I'm like, he just ran ahead of us. And she's like, we always find everyone. Right. We find every child. And I'm like, I'm not worried.
He's not 2.
Yeah, he's 11. Like, I go, yeah, I'm sure it's fine. Alex is crying. I'm like rubbing her back. I get a text from Sven. I found him. I'm like, okay, great. So I said, Alex, we got him. It's cool. But he comes up walking with Benji. Benji literally looks like he's asleep. He's like all groggy and kind of like has his head down. And he comes up and he goes, I fell asleep.
Come on.
I go, what?
You're kidding.
So he goes, yeah. So when I didn't see you guys, I went into this pavilion because they have this big pavilion where it's another place you can get drinks and snacks. You might remember
I remember
it.
that.
It's like all lit up and charming. He goes, because you always said if I didn't see you, just to stay put.
Oh.
And he goes, so I knew I should just stay put. He goes, and then I just lay down. I got tired and I thought they'll come find me and I just probably hope I wake up in my own bed.
Oh my God. That's hysterical.
So he lay down on the bench and fell asleep.
Like, that's, I mean, it's just like a fairy tale or something. His sister is panicking and he's just literally asleep.
Asleep on a bench.
Did he have like 5 soccer games that day or something?
He did have a huge soccer game that day.
So he was wiped
He was
out.
tired. But I just thought that's so indicative of like how different they are. Of like she's having a heart attack and sobbing. And he's just like, they'll find me. And I'll probably wake up in my own bed.
He's
For
so
now,
logical.
I'm just going to crash and do what they said I should do and wait here.
So did Sven find him or did the APB? Okay. Amazing. So he had to go wake him up.
Yeah. He was like, hey, wake up.
Oh my God, that is so cute. So then did you go directly home or were you still had stuff to do?
Well, all the kids wanted to go into the gift shop and the kids were kind of like, well, we were scared and lost, so we should be able to get stuff. And I was like, no, you're not getting anything.
Oh, that's so funny.
Wow, that's expert manipulation right there.
Right? They're good at that.
Are there Christmas decoration? I mean, in the gift shop during Christmas? Is it ornaments and
it's
stuff?
It's like Christmas explosion.
Yeah, I might want to go.
It's cool though. Like they do have all these little like birds and owl like ornaments. It's really hard not to spend money in that gift shop.
Yeah.
But it's also like, here are some ginger honey lozenges in a cute jar and it's $18.
Yes.
So you kind of have to go.
Lots of tea towels.
Oh, it's
birds.
Yeah.
Tea towels. Yeah.
It's all kinds of cuteness.
It's pretty adorable.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Oh my God. He's Goldilocks or something.
Yeah.
Just
This bench is just right.
It's so cute. Right. Oh my God.
So, yeah, I mean, it is funny that, like, he would get lost because that is so typical of what happens.
Well, speaking of being scared, we should probably get into today's topic. I don't really know what it is. I heard words, but I didn't know what they meant.
Guys, I learned a lot.
Okay.
Oh, you know what I forgot? So, I was going to play a voicemail.
Okay.
And can I just put it into this microphone?
Why not?
Yeah, you probably just put your speaker in.
All right. So, guys, I'm going to play this. It does have to do with our episode.
Okay. It's not just your mom saying you left something.
It's not. It is weirdly from someone I know who works in Ohio and hires bus drivers.
I need to know if you hire. Well, I think you is. As long as you don't do a drug test.
This is for
I'm
driving
good.
children.
I don't do drugs. I smoke weed. I won't smoke at work. I'll smoke on my break. That's it.
What?
But not while I'm driving. I'll save it for while I'm driving home or to work.
Oh, okay.
I never smoke on the
Safety
car.
first.
So now we got that established. I'm going to go and fill out this application. You hire me. Okay. Yeah. Let's do this. I'm ready. I'll fill out the app. When you see the name, hire me. And no, I don't do drugs. I smoke weed. That's it. Oh, but I love kids. I'll protect them. And I'll make sure we don't wreck. For real. Because I've never had a wreck in my life. So there's that. Check the driving record, buddy. All right, I love you. I'll be looking forward to hearing from you and working with you. And I love you. I want you to have a good day. Stay positive. Don't let anything get you down. Okay? Don't let anyone tell you that you can't do it, because you can do it.
Unless what it is
You are worth it. And you keep your head up and smile. Have a good darn day.
He's hired.
That's amazing. You can do anything unless what that is driving children and you smoke pot on the reg.
Is that kind of the best thing you've ever heard in your life?
That's fucking amazing. Do we think there's any chance that isn't real? That has to be real, right?
I think it's real. I mean, I mean,
he's high. That's why he's out of his saying he
out
loves,
of his mind.
He
But
loves
like
the person.
You kind of like root for the guy.
100%.
I mean, I don't want him to drive my children to
I just
school.
like that he doesn't think his break is on the clock.
Yeah, I'm only going to drive high to get to the school bus.
Right, but then I'll somehow be sober.
And then I'll drive the kids. I get behind my break.
That was hysterical. I love that so much. That is chutzpah.
Yeah, it made me really happy when I heard
so that has something to do with our topic.
Today, we're going to talk about how to survive greening out.
I'm assuming now that has something to do with pot.
Have you heard of this, Karen?
I've never heard this term before.
Okay. I had not either. And so when I heard about it, I was like, well, we have to talk about this today. So it's actually taken from the term blacking out when you're, when you've had too much alcohol, but it's when you've smoked too much weed or vape, or maybe had it in a gummy. Mm-hmm. You can also, there's so many ways you can get weed now. Mm-hmm. You guys know a lot about this. Garen. Patches. You can do a transdermal patch now.
Oh.
You can do a dip in your lip.
Well, wait a second.
Yep,
Wait a second.
yep.
Wait a second. A dip in your lip?
You know how people used to dip?
I know that's the first route to cancer. Why would you do that?
You can do people do it all different ways now. It's weird. A lot of it has to do with, I think, when people want to fly and they don't want to, and they're not allowed to take weed.
Take a fucking gummy.
Well, yeah, but maybe they don't want to. Maybe they want to dip their lip.
Ugh,
you can do it
so
like
disgusting.
a Kool-Aid, like powder, so you can drink
really?
it. Yeah. Pills, of course. So like if you go to a concert,
Of course, I
and
didn't
you
know
want to
that.
take it as a pill because maybe you don't want to be high when you're figuring out your tickets, and you don't want to be high when you're trying to find your seats.
Oh, you mean it's a time release?
A time release, but plus also it doesn't stink up the people you're sitting
Well,
next to.
okay, so that is what I say every time I go to a fucking concert now. Why aren't you bringing gummies to this concert? I don't understand why people are smoking pot in public. It is so disgusting.
Well, I do think for some people, I'm not defending them. I'm saying it's a controlling amount thing with gummies. Some people aren't. Well, when you smoke it, it's going into your system faster. A gummy can take like 2 hours.
Well, then do it on, like this guy. Do it on the way
yes,
there.
I agree. I don't want to.
It's so annoying to me. I don't like. You have a solution now.
Yes, I agree.
This is not the 70s.
I agree. I don't like the. I don't mind the smell, but I get it because I really don't like the smell of cigarette smoke close to me. So if it bothers you, like cigarette smoke bothers me,
I hate
I would
it.
be really bummed out to have somebody smoking
Yeah.
next to me. Okay. Candy, chocolate. I've had it in chocolate. Beef jerky.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
You can also put it in your butt. Suppositories.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why are we inventing new ways to get high off of pot? It's not a complicated drug.
I don't think we need it that way.
Well, here's why. Do you want to hear why? Which actually,
Yes.
when I heard it, I was like, that's amazing. It actually originally was for women's vaginas because of period pain and endometriosis, because it releases all of that in those areas where they have so much pain from, some women have really intensely painful periods. And then they realized, like, for other people, they started putting it in their butt for more, like, sex things.
I don't understand. Wait a second. So you're saying, okay, first of all, if you put it in your butt, it will, then it's closer to your uterus and vagina, so somehow that'll make you feel better?
Originally, the suppository was vagina.
Oh, okay.
For the
okay.
endometriosis and the period pain.
Oh, okay.
But then they were like, we can also put this in our butt, and that makes that area like
higher,
more loose and nice,
Oh,
and
like anal,
and
like-
it makes everything feel better.
Okay.
And so they were like, let's make things feel better down there.
Isn't that what poppers are for? Anal nitrate or something?
I don't know what poppers do, or
I think isn't that it
is.
was a drug in the gay community. I don't know if it still is.
I've actually never really used them.
Really used them. You've somewhat used them?
My old roommate had them, and he's like, try this. And I smelled it, and I was like, oh, that's disgusting.
Oh, is it gross?
Yeah, it's not.
Okay.
I don't get what it does.
All right. Well, there was also, remember, vodka tampons?
yeah.
For a while?
I mean, you can get drunk from your vagina. I
just
guess.
don't understand why people need to invent new ways to do.
Maybe that just, sometimes people need to amp things up. It's like a serial killer.
I
They
guess.
start with kittens,
Right.
and then it's beheading,
Yeah.
sorority girls. We need to amp.
Yeah.
Some people need to amp. We don't all need to. Some of us just go from a small craft to a quilt. We stick to the things
Right.
that are legal. That wasn't a good analogy, but that's all I could go from. All right. So what does greening out feel like? Well, my research led me to a website called Destination for Teens.
Oh.
Guess what? Adults have not figured out how to talk to teens yet about drugs, because this website had the picture of the coolest teen I've ever seen. I was like, she was like all morose, looking at her phone, like listening to music and real
She was
cool.
aspirational. Is what
I
you're
was
saying.
like, if I was in 8th grade, I'd be like, who is that? How can I be friends with her?
Right.
We're going to smoke pot together in the church parking lot.
That's so funny.
And she's like listening to the Smiths or whatever. And then here's the text, guys. She was like, she was an advertisement for greening out. Marijuana, also known as cannabis, is becoming increasingly popular among teens. Marijuana, also known as cannabis, I already read that. Teen marijuana use can lead to unhealthy patterns of behavior and even addiction. Teenagers who abuse marijuana are at risk for a condition called greening out, which occurs when someone takes too much marijuana and experiences unpleasant side effects such as vomiting and dizziness. If you or someone you love is experiencing a teen marijuana use disorder, you may need a teen marijuana addiction treatment program.
So greening out is an incident. It's not a cumulative. It
happens at, yes.
It's like
you got
overdosing, like in one.
It is
in one instance. Okay,
I found some better info than that website, which gives some more descriptive information. It can last a few minutes, a few hours, but generally after 24 hours, you're okay. But I mean, can you imagine 24 hours of being too high? Here are some. I'm going to get into some stuff that's kind of horrifying, guys. Okay. People, and it's a lot of men, young men, are increasingly showing up in emergency rooms from greening out.
Really?
With serious symptoms, panic, anxiety attacks, passing out, rapid heart rate, something called cannabinoid hyperemesis syndrome, which is, I'm going to talk about this later, guys, and you're maybe going to shit your pants. You actually might, Danielle, just because of what you're going through.
Right.
Here's some signs to look out for: paranoia, nausea and vomiting, loss of coordination, dizziness, lightheadedness, pale skin, slurred speech, dry mouth. I mean, I feel like Danielle can relate to this. We're taking medication to prevent a lot of these symptoms.
Right.
Like, I don't need to take something that gives me those things.
Well, this is why I never liked pot to begin with, because I just got the paranoid part.
Same. Like, smoking pot always made me so paranoid immediately that no thank you.
It wasn't fun.
Okay, some common symptoms, which is, I guess, a little different than signs. Heaviness in the limbs, mild hallucinations.
Oh, my God.
Pass, right?
Right.
Increased heart rate, lowered blood pressure. So these are physical, like, viable things they can... Oh, this is the worst. You may experience the spins. Remember that feeling when you drank too much? The feeling of vertigo and nausea when you try to put your foot down. Remember, that was always the thing they'd tell you to do. Put one foot down. Was that something people told you to do when you got the spins?
No, I just remember having the spins while I was laying down in bed.
Okay.
Did you have spins vertically? Like you were up?
Like
right?
laying down in the bed and then you have to put the foot, like if you put your foot down on the floor. Okay. Get ready for this, okay? All right. If you've been smoking weed, how can you tell? How can you tell if you're greened out? All right. So if you've been smoking weed, consuming edibles, vaping, marijuana, or dabbing, okay. Do either of you know what I mean when I say dabbing?
Mm-hmm.
I thought I did, but now
not this, not the dance.
I forget what dabbing is.
Holy shit, you guys! I just learned about
I thought it was like acid. I thought you dab acid.
No, dabbing
liquid.
It's just a different way to smoke.
I'm going to tell you.
Oh, okay. I was wrong.
You've not done it, have you?
Yeah.
Have you? Mm-hmm. Holy shit! I don't want you to do it again, okay? Because I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
All right. It's a way to ingest THC in an insanely concentrated form. It's concentrated into a wax and then inhaled, okay?
Ew.
It has about 80% THC concentration, okay? And one of the methods that is most frequently associated with ER visits, according to Stanford.edu. Okay, so 80% compared to 10% to 30% in a joint.
Oh, okay.
Like, think about, like, if I take, like, 2 hits off of a joint, I'm so high I can't handle it.
Right.
But I could take, like, a 1 milligram little gummy and be fine.
Yeah.
And, like, be like, yeah, I like this. So that's the difference. And then 80%, okay? So what a dab is, you take it out of a dab rig, which looks a lot like a bong, okay? But they tend to be clear glass and have like a science lab kind of feel. So if you can imagine like Beaker and Bunsen from the Muppets, it would look good. Sorry, nope, that's not. I would never tarnish the Muppets with marijuana. All right.
She saw my face.
I'm so sorry. This is disgusting. I haven't said this. Okay,
Yeah.
You know what's better? Breaking Bad. It would fit nicely in Mr. White and Jesse's lab.
Okay.
So it looks like a bong, but it's all glass, like beakery feel. Okay.
Mimi.
So, what are the long-term effects of greening out? Okay. It depends on potency, amount, rate, consistency it's consumed. Okay. Everyone reacts to substances differently, especially if other health conditions or substances are present, right? Mm-hmm. Here we go. The common long-term side effects of greening out are still being discovered. It's known that having a marijuana addiction, also known as marijuana use disorder, which, you know, a lot of people say like, oh, you can't get addicted to marijuana. Guess what? I've been around people who are.
I mean,
and it can fuck you up.
I feel like if you're doing it every day, well, are you choosing to do it every day or are you addicted? I mean, who's to say, I guess, but it certainly seems like an addiction.
I've seen a lot
doing
of kooky paranoia and really oddball behavior in people who should really cut back.
Right.
Because it's still a drug. It's not. Listen, we need to learn about moderation
Yeah,
in anything.
in anything.
Yes, it's a plant, but that doesn't. These are ways it's being consumed where it's no longer in its natural form.
Right. Cocaine's a plant too.
Yeah. Doesn't mean we should just snort an 8-ball a day and be like, this is good for me. All right, here we go. Memory loss, learning impairments, difficulty regulating impulse control, lower IQ, the list goes on. Okay, so I'm not going to go through
Wait,
all.
you didn't explain I don't understand what the wax thing is.
The dabbing?
Yeah.
Okay, so they're getting it through this little pipe situation
Yeah.
that looks like a bong, not a bomb.
Oh, you put the wax in there.
Well, it's like a little tiny. I think it's a lot similar to hash. It's like a tiny little
It's a little piece of like wax.
little sticky piece,
Yeah,
right?
And you
get it really hot.
That's the real dangerous part, is that it has to be dangerously hot to use, because you have to heat up this thing and then touch it and it'll smoke out, and then you suck the smoke out of the bong.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do you avoid greening out? Well,
Don't do that.
don't do that. I mean, you can just not get high is one way.
Right.
P.S. I'm not advocating people don't get high. I think it's fine to get high. I think for sure some people need marijuana
Moderation.
medicinally.
Yeah.
Kids need it for cancer treatment. Adults need it for cancer treatment. People need it for chronic pain. I've used it for chronic pain. Please.
But they're not dabbing in the children's unit of the hospital.
Right. Where there's a lot that's dangerous that I'm going to talk about. Okay. I don't deny anyone their medicine. Be careful. Okay. Beware of what you're ingesting. Go to a reputable dispensary. Buy quality products. Start with a small dose, guys. You know your tolerance. Okay. Know that like with edibles, it can take an hour or more for the effects to kick in. Don't like eat one and be like, it's not doing anything.
Right.
Oh, don't do your drugs alone. That's why do you think I keep pressuring you, Danielle? I don't want to do it by myself.
Gotcha.
I can't get Sven to do it. So peer pressure is a good thing. I'm kidding, you guys. We want you to have a safe person in case,
Something goes. Oh.
Exactly. Like Danielle,
Yeah.
as Kermit says, it's not easy being green.
Oh, dang. She brought it back.
Shit, I did it again. All right. But what happens if you didn't follow the advice of starting small? Instead, you dabbed with some stranger, you met. Like in one of those meetup groups, they have like West Side dabbers. And you like thought it was this. You thought it was dabbing
Right.
the dance. And then you get there and then you were like, oh shit, I'm too embarrassed to say what I thought this was. So then you dab.
You thought you were joining one of those dance crews.
Yes. And then you're like just way high in an Applebee's parking lot and you can't handle it.
Right.
First is what you should do. Drink a bunch of water.
Okay.
Text a safe person. If you even have one. I don't know if you have a safe person. If you're going to some meetup in West LA.
You got to have at least one safe person.
I hope so. I hope you do. You just lay down in the parking lot. Don't get in a car with somebody, even if they say like, oh, my seat reclines all the way back. Don't get in that car.
Go to an expensive garden and fall asleep in it.
Yes, like my son, he was safe. Oh, here is a useful tip. If you are too high, smell crushed black peppercorn.
Oh.
Which is thought to have terpenes? Terpene properties that may reduce some of the uncomfortable symptoms.
Interesting.
Okay. How you go?
I wonder if that helps with other nausea.
Try it. Try
Crushed
it.
black pepper.
I'm going to try it next time I feel nauseated. Okay, here you go. Seek out medical attention if you're really feeling bad, right?
Okay.
Call 911, This is from sandstonecare.com. If you think you're greening out, you may think that adding more cannabis will help to level out the side effects.
Well, then you're really high if that's if that's
you
your
are
thinking.
really living in another dimension. Nope, don't do that. I think that we should definitely not do that. No. Can greening out kill you? Okay. If cannabis is mixed with other dangerous substances, such as alcohol, opioids, or stimulants, the results can quickly become life-threatening. All right. Especially because it's hard for your as we know, when we drink alcohol and do drugs, our decision-making processes and our logic processes are lowered. It becomes harder to understand what your body's telling you. the cannabis can heighten your senses, can cause extreme paranoia. So don't be afraid to seek medical attention or go to the hospital, right?
Right.
Okay. Here's when we're going to talk about the danger is the marijuana and the alcohol mix, right? Marijuana is the number one drug used by people who drink alcohol.
Okay.
Okay. While people may consider it harmless to combine the drugs, these two substances can actually lead to severe health consequences, right? The most life-threatening risk is the alcohol overdose. Mixing alcohol with marijuana has been shown to greatly increase the amount of alcohol a person ingests.
Oh.
Right? That's what's going to kill you. Here's the main reason, right? Well,
Okay.
I don't know if it's the main reason. Here's a big reason. Cannabis products are known to be anti-emetic. Anti-emetic. Do you guys know what that means?
No.
Okay. I knew this when I was a teenager because all the teens in my group were like, you can't mix them. Because cannabis use makes it more difficult for an individual to vomit. That's why chemo patients use it.
Oh, wow.
But when you drink, if you drink too much, guess what? You need to throw
vomit.
it up because you have alcohol poisoning, okay? So it could potentially lead to serious effects when combined because you have alcohol poisoning, but you need to throw it up and you don't.
Wow.
So you can die.
Interesting.
So do not party those two things together. There are a lot of other really justifiable reasons not to mix those two things together. I think that's the biggest one, though.
Jesus, that's amazing.
So,
I never thought of that.
I
But
would
that
say,
makes sense.
Why not just not do that?
So not only does it prevent you from throwing up, but it prevents you from wanting to throw up, right?
It inhibits that.
But I'm saying, like, you wouldn't be nauseated even.
Correct.
Okay. So you think you're fine and you keep drinking. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that, like...
It inhibits, the vomit response.
I also didn't know that people do both together. I mean, I know that now, but it never occurred to me that people would be doing that at the same time. It seems like two different kind of...
It's called crossfaded.
Oh, is that what that means? Crossfaded. When you're drinking and... But they're both depressants, right?
I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so if weed itself won't directly kill you, there have been deaths associated with cannabis products. Okay, this is all pretty rare, so I don't want to be this like weed scaremonger. We're just talking about what can happen, but it's pretty unlikely. In a 2014 case, a 19-year-old Colorado man died after he ate a cannabis cookie, began behaving erratically, and jumped off a fourth-floor balcony.
Oh, my God.
His autopsy reported marijuana intoxication as a chief contributing factor. Again, this isn't...
Right.
This is like an isolated incident. People don't do this. Cannabis use can increase heart rate and blood pressure, and it can be a risk factor for some people who have pre-existing heart-related conditions. After adjusting for a number of factors, including age, sex, diabetes, and tobacco or alcohol use, they found cannabis use remained an independent predictor of both heart failure and stroke. So I think we're just talking about the idea that it's not this like halcyonic, perfectly safe wonder thing. Yes, it helps a lot of people. I would much rather be around a person who's high than a person who's been drinking. But there are risks involved, and it's important to sort of know about them. And especially with the greening out stuff and dabbing, I think it's important to recognize. Can I tell you guys a story?
Yes.
This is more like kind of a news article that has stories in it. But I found it interesting. It connects to sort of the dabbing stuff that I was like, oh no, as a parent, it scares me. And I'm hoping that, this doesn't happen to my kid. Okay. One day in fall 2018, Bo Gribben began to vomit and couldn't stop. He threw up multiple times an hour from morning to night before his mother drove him to the hospital near their home here. I felt like Edward Scissorhands was trying to grab my intestines and pull them out, said Gribben, then 17. Over the next 9 months, Gribben went to the emergency room 11 times for the same problem, severe vomiting and screaming at the same time that lasted for hours. When a physician assistant told him the likely cause, Gribben didn't believe it at first. He had never heard of marijuana producing a side effect like that. The only thing that convinced me was that it stopped when I stopped smoking, says Gribben, now 20. The condition, officially called cannabinoid hyperemesia syndrome, but now known to healthcare workers as scromiting, a mashup of screaming and vomiting, has popped up with increasing frequency at hospitals in Colorado, doctors say. This is from NBC News, by the way. The ER at Parkview Medical Center in Pueblo saw only 5 scoremeting cases in 2009. By 2018, the number has risen to more than 120, according to data compiled by Dr. Brad Roberts, an emergency room physician at the hospital. Reports of the syndrome doubled in 2 different ERs in the state shortly after legalization, according to one study. Roberts said the pressure of these patients strains hospital resources. When faced with people suffering from bouts of nonstop vomiting, doctors often order up an array of diagnostic tests to rule out other underlying causes. Cannabis has been consumed by humans for thousands of years, but relatively little is known about cannabinoid hyperemesis syndrome. The condition was first reported in scientific literature in 2004. The available research since then indicates that it stems from chronic use of especially powerful marijuana. A 2017 review of studies found that 97% of people who developed the condition reported using marijuana at least once a week. About 75% said they consumed cannabis regularly for over a year.
So this would seem to contradict the whole pot doesn't make you throw up thing.
The authors noted that it's not yet known why some marijuana users develop cannabinoid hyperemesis syndrome and others don't. The fact that marijuana is used by many people to suppress nausea adds to the mystery.
Okay, sorry.
People who've had the syndrome say it can be alleviated with hot showers or baths. I read a whole other article about this and I thought it has something to do with the gut bacteria and the shower helping.
Really?
It's fascinating.
Okay.
But the episodes often continue until the patient stops using marijuana altogether. Scoremeting cases have increased as pot has become far more powerful, according to doctors. I think it has to do, well, I shouldn't say this is what I think. It has to do with the potency. People who are using, who have cancer and who are using marijuana for vomiting.
It's probably regulated.
They're not using,
right.
They're not doing 80%,
right.
Experts say the marijuana consumed 20 years ago had levels of THC, the main psychoactive ingredient, of 2 to 3%. But cannabis products now sold in markets like Colorado can have THC levels as high as 90%.
Jesus Christ.
Dr. Timothy Myers, the chair of the emergency department at Boulder Community Health, said when he first arrived at the hospital 18 years ago, it was a condition he never saw. Now I see it practically every day. Okay. 4 Colorado doctors interviewed by NBC News said they've also seen an increase in the numbers of patients with psychiatric illness issues after consuming powerful marijuana. A 2019 study found that consuming cannabis with THC levels exceeding 10% increased the odds of a psychotic episode. Almost every day, I see a patient in the ER who is having a psychotic break after taking high-potency THC. So there were multiple stories about almost always men having schizophrenia from the high-level marijuana, the dabbing. I didn't bring any of those stories in because they were so disturbing.
I'm disturbed just hearing about it.
And because there's just had a new study come out talking about the incidence of schizophrenia paired with this, but they're having such a hard teasing out if it is that men who have a predisposition to schizophrenia are drawn naturally towards high-potency marijuana, or if their psychotic episodes are being caused by that. They can't figure it out. So I didn't want to come in and be like, they can't figure out it's a correlation causation issue, but they are starting to think that it is a causation. So because the research is so complicated, I decided not to get into it, but it is a lot of interesting research if anyone wants to read more about it. I found it really fascinating. Okay. One woman, Judy Amabile, a state lawmaker who represents Boulder, supported the bill. This is a bill to require those under 21 to visit 2 separate doctors to get. It's about limits on who can. It used to be 18-year-olds in Colorado could amass large quantities of pot, and now they're trying to make it 21 because of so many young men coming into the hospital with these either psychotic episodes or scromiting. And she lost. Her son's alive, but he has a schizophrenia break to cannabis. So she's trying to adjust the laws, and she says
it's permanent. This isn't something that stops.
For her, I don't know. For some of these men, it all seems to be men.
Interesting.
Young boys. Some of them seem to be getting better after, but it takes a few years.
Wow.
And some of them, I don't know that they do. Sorry, this is a little. I'm just trying to skip through some of it. Bo Gribbon is now sober and headed to college this fall to study electronic music. He said he's clear-eyed that what happened to him
Wait, this guy's into EDM?
I know.
This pothead? I was thinking to do that job without token up every once in a while.
Good luck. Good luck staying sober.
Good luck enjoying the music if you're
I know.
high.
Oh my God. That sounds like a punishment. I mean, either way to me, it sounds like a punishment. He said he's clear-eyed that what happened to him was a result of his own decisions, but he said the industry should also be held accountable. I don't know if anyone needs to go to jail, but I think they need to be sued, he said.
Well, it brings up such an interesting question about legalization because, I've always been pro-legalization and I mean, for pot. And the idea was, well, if they're going to get it any case, you might as well get it in a controlled way. But from what you said, the numbers went up after legalization. So that's kind of interesting. Does kind of, maybe not all forms of pot should be legal. In other words, maybe there should be a cap on the percentage. You don't, sell coffee with 2,000% caffeine in it, just a thought.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of interesting discussions, and I think we can have those conversations with nuance because we're capable. Well, we can't on this podcast. I don't think they can in the world.
Right.
I think regulation's okay to say that, it's like, like how we talk about guns. Like, I don't have a problem. I don't think anyone needs to own an AR-15.
Right.
Like, there's no reason. And so, I don't know that,
sensible.
Does anybody need to have that level of marijuana going into their system that we're having kids going with psychotic breaks that are, or schizophrenia that we can say, oh, maybe it's from the pot. Like, hey, maybe you don't need to have that percentage of weed.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, I thought it was a really interesting topic because I didn't know anything about this.
Yeah, no, it's really interesting.
And it also means I have to have different conversations with my kids about drugs because I always thought it'd be like, oh, sure, they're going to try pot. In my head thinking they're going to smoke a joint. And now I have to be like, here's the kind of ways of high you shouldn't get.
No, I think that's absolutely valid. It's tricky.
Well, we'll solve it during the break.
Why not? Let's go. We'll be back after this.
Imagine the softest sheets you've ever felt. Now imagine them getting even softer over time. That's what you'll feel with Boll & Branch's best-selling signature sheets in 100% organic cotton. In a recent customer survey, 96% replied that Boll & Branch sheets get softer with every wash. Start getting your best night's sleep in sheets that get softer and softer for years to come. Try their sheets with a 30-night guarantee. Plus, get 15% off with your first order at bollandbranch.com, code WONDERY15. Exclusions apply. See site for details.
Canva presents the killer of productivity. It was an ordinary workday until...
Oh no, this meeting could have been an email.
Run. Canva had a creative solve.
Forget email. I'll just put the info the team needs in a Canva doc, and I'll make it visual with images, charts, and graphics.
Bring productivity killers to justice with creativity. Love your work at canva.com.
Lara Everly's here.
Hi, Lara.
Hi.
She's a director.
Yes.
You may
super
have enjoyed her from directing American Auto, show we've all enjoyed, and we're sad that it's not coming back. She has a short film on the festival circuit right now starring Rachel Bloom. It's called Heritage Day. Congratulations on that.
Yeah, that's really huge.
I hope we're going to get a chance to watch it. And you were talking about another, was it a short film called MAGA, but it stands for...
Oh, no. So, yeah, it's I directed a spot, but it was a long spot for Mothers Against Greg Abbott.
Oh, my God.
Known as the other MAGA. I won a Webby. I like to bring comedy to advocacy, and I'm very passionate about the reproductive rights space. And it was about a 12-year-old girl who tries to adopt a baby.
Yes.
And basically, like, everything the receptionist is saying as to why that would be a terrible
that's
idea
hysterical.
is also why it's a terrible idea to, force a 12-year-old or 13-year-old to keep a baby that she doesn't want.
That's great.
So we kind of reverse engineered the sad, scary reality.
I love that. I have a big announcement.
Yes.
Got a text from my dad.
Yeah.
He texted my brother Tom on it too. Not sure why, because he never responds to texts. And he said, big news. It's finally happening. I'm meeting a girl for coffee.
Oh, Mazel tov.
That's
Love that he
good.
still says girl.
Well,
He's meeting a woman
She's
who's
80.
well, he said,
between 75 and 80.
oh, that's good. It's his age.
Oh yeah, he doesn't usually, he's not interested in younger.
But she better be skinny.
Oh, she better not weigh more than 103 pounds.
Yeah.
That's my dad.
That sounds like a cult
Yeah.
parameter.
He is very, he
Well,
hates.
you lose bone density at a certain age. So
True,
chances
true.
are, she might
and
not
you shrink.
weigh.
Yeah, all
Yeah,
that.
not in Ohio though.
Oh,
The women, when he was the brief time he was here, I think there were plenty of skinny women for him to choose from, but it was like they intimidated him because they were so cultured and traveled and educated, and that was like, all these women just want to travel. That's all they want to do. And I was like, well, yeah. I mean,
so how did he meet this woman? Or how did he?
on a dating app.
Your dad does a dating app. That's impressive.
When we were hanging out with him in Ohio, like riding the little trolley around the town and waving to Santa Claus, literally, here's my dad. Dating app.
You're kidding.
Scrolling, looking at women.
Wait, why is there? I'm sorry, but why is there not a dating show for like senior citizens? Because
There is The Bachelor. Just the Golden Bachelor. Just
there
happened.
is.
You don't know about the Golden Bachelor?
I don't watch The Bachelor at all. So it's all like older people.
No. You don't have to watch The Bachelor to know about the Golden Bachelor.
I
This
don't
is
know
huge
this.
news.
Oh my God, no. Okay, great.
Okay,
I'm
so
glad
they
it
did-
exists because I would watch this. Like
they
a
did a
bunch of
season-
like
Yeah.
70, 80-year-olds dating.
It exists for you now.
They did a season.
I'm
of,
so
it ju-
happy.
It
Yeah.
just ended. The guy was, how old was he?
75?
70-something.
I'm in a reality TV show like hole. Like,
Okay.
I just don't even.
Well, it's out there for you. The entire season has just
It's supposed to
completed.
be pretty heartwarming. I didn't want. I don't know
watched-
much reality stuff, but it's like the commercials. I don't know what show we were watching. It might have been like something on
ABC, right?
ABC,
So-
but like literally that commercial of him finding love on the Golden Bachelor was
Yeah.
every other commercial.
I mean, I watched the first episode just to be in the conversation, and it wasn't for me, but it was fine. I mean, he seems very sweet, and
He's a widow.
really good looking for his age.
yeah,
he
no,
really
this
is.
just, I'm just more invested in these kinds of stories than I am in some like 30-something-year-old. Like I'm
Yeah.
invested in your dad and the girl that he's.
I'll let you know how it
meeting.
goes.
Thanks.
I mean,
It's sweet. I'm glad that he's getting out because you say he's sort of,
in the house,
secluded. Yeah.
yeah, he doesn't go
So
out
good
much.
for him.
I hope he found a nice pickleball partner.
Yeah. I hope so too.
Well, I'll keep
great.
you posted.
That's great.
And
Yes.
speaking of like dating shows, have you guys seen Naked Attraction?
Wait, is that the one where they
Slowly reveal their body parts.
Yes,
but they start
I've
with their
heard-
genitals.
What?
I've-
No!
It's British, right?
It's British.
Oh my God, that's bananas.
Yeah, I haven't actually
The first thing
watched
they
it.
show is their
Yes.
bits?
Yes. So you don't see their face or anything, and the person is like exposed to just, I mean, depending on their, sexual preference,
Yes.
or if they're bi, it could be, a whole smorgasbord, a whole
yes.
charcuterie.
What's your cheese plate look like?
Exactly. And they're just looking at the genitals like close up, and then they eliminate one by one. And then they like more body parts get revealed, like then their torso, then but the face is the last thing.
That is
And do
so
they ask
wild.
them questions about themselves while it's happening?
No,
It's
eventually
literally
you
just
can
physical.
hear their voice, but it's like it's like the last thing.
So it's literally just physical, and the first thing is genitals.
it's just genitals.
but
That's the
It's a
last thing I
process of
wanna see.
elimination
Yeah.
based off of like a whole slew of genitals. Like I said, I don't watch reality TV, and so this was like going from like
you were probably shocked.
like, oh, I don't take Tylenol, then like you take heroin. I just dove right
you
in
deep end.
and it was like a train track, like a car crash or a train
Yes.
crash, and you just can't look away. Like I watched like 3 episodes in a row until like
I just
my
can't
brain
imagine. I know some
hurt.
women claim that they really care about genitals. I mean, really? Like, that's the last part.
No, I don't think anyone. I mean, I think there's shock value, but the truth is, I don't think anyone wants to look at a bunch of genitals.
No.
I mean, they're like, "Oh, this is so great!" Like the content. I'm like, "Is it? Is it?"
It's
Oh
so
my
weird.
God.
It's so weird to have to pretend maybe to care about that,
Yeah.
or maybe just
And they comment on it. They
mean, I
comment.
think-
They're like, "Oh yeah, yeah. That's a very it's a very tidy vagina," and I'm like, no.
I mean, I do think men like breasts, but I don't think they care about them in the way that women worry about their breasts. Like I
For
think men are just
sure.
happy to be with breasts.
Oh, breasts are different than genitals.
but yeah, you're right. Like, but I don't
mean-
think men are like, that vagina is ugly, so I don't want to be with that woman. I think it's like...
It just seems like the strangest way to go, but okay.
Yeah. If anyone's having a dark moment, it's on HBO.
I mean, I might have to...
dating show.
I might have to watch an episode just
Genitals
to
first.
know what's going on.
Okay, well, in the first half of the show, what did we talk about?
On the first half of... Nope, I'm going to try that again. On the first...
You get so scared every time you have to do it.
Oh, can I do it? All right. On the first half of the show, we talked about how to survive greening out. And now we're going to talk about how to survive going green. Lara?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think you have a story for us.
I do. I absolutely do. So, yeah, I was a kind of early adopter, trying to be, as environmental as I could. I had a first generation Prius back in like 2003. And there was the year that we got our first house. I also, now that I had a garage, I wanted to get my first electric car. So I leased a Nissan Leaf. And we also got solar panels. And I was like trying to, really, this was the year I was going to go green. We were going to like do our part now that we actually had a home and we had choices and we had more options, right? Versus apartment life and all of that. So it's also the first year that I become a mom. So I've got a kid, and the Leaf was like, and I know it's gotten better. So like not trying to throw like a ton of shade, but just like a little bit of shade. But at the time, the range on the car was 80 miles or something, like 85 miles. Like that's it, right?
Was it plug-in?
A plug-in. Okay. Yeah. But again, like this was like 2016. So like people had electric cars, but it still wasn't just like, oh, there's charging stations.
Right.
Was still a little bit newish. And so anyway, I made a lot of choices, by the way, in this story that I would never do now. Like I look back at myself and I'm like, who
That's sort of the
person?
premise of our show. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, a part of it's like, really the story should be like how to survive, like not having boundaries and then learning them is really kind of the story. But like, I had a kid, I had a kid, he was really cute, and we'd kind of accidentally gotten him into doing a couple of commercials and stuff. It was like, it started when he was really little. We sort of got thrown into this Ford commercial for the Olympics, and it was like a big payday, and like we like set up a college account because of it. And I was like, you know what? This is great. Like, why not? If he's like this cute Gerber baby, just like throw him in a couple of things. So anyway.
Well, that's what I always say. Like, get the kid in before they can be scarred. Yeah.
Right.
Just make the money for them and then enough. Right.
Yeah, exactly. And I was still acting at the time, and I had this acting teacher. Again, this was like, what was I thinking? But like, I really looked up to him. I was probably like under some sort of like little bit of like a spell that like acting teachers like, sometimes cast on their.
You were in a cult.
I was like in a quasi cult, and he was doing this feature, and he wanted my baby to be in it, and he pitched it to me like a modern day Raising Arizona, but with like a there was like a queer element, and I loved Raising Arizona. I grew up in the 80s, like whatever, favorite film. So I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, why not, whatever.
Right.
I just like also want to be on his good side.
Of course. And does the baby character need a mom?
Right. Well, exactly. Like I was just kind of like, I'll just roll with the punches here. And so far, my kid had only had really good experiences doing these things. Like, he did like an Honest commercial, and it's just like high profile things where like everything's in order. He's on set for like an hour.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like we like bank a bunch of college money and we're done. And he's whatever.
Right.
So, anyway, cut to this acting teacher who's directing the feature sends me this script, and I'm like a tired mom. I'm not like, okay, I don't want to read this whole script. And so far, he's only played like the baby. Like, there's no like, I don't even.
He hasn't
really
had to stretch a lot.
No, it's not like, oh, he's a lawyer in this one, or whatever. It's just like it's a baby's a baby.
He's playing to type.
Right? But he's like 9 months at this point, But I'm still like, every time I think like I should read the script or at least find the pages he's in, I'm like, it just sounds like homework, like that I don't want to do. I'm sure whatever it is, he's playing a baby, and that's that. So then cut to, I get the call sheet, and it's like in Lancaster.
Ugh.
Like fucking Lancaster, which for anyone that isn't in California, it's like an hour outside of Los Angeles, kind of.
At least, right?
Yeah, like it's like the desert.
Yeah,
too,
it's far.
right?
Yeah.
And we have just switched the car seats from like a bucket seat where they're just like a little infant thing to this convertible car seat. And we had it professionally installed. And again, this is like first time mom, first time, you know, with my electric car. Like all this sort of feels like why did I make these choices? Like I could have switched cars with
okay. All right.
my husband, but like I had the good car seat in my car.
Right. Yeah.
And I was paranoid to switch it. Like we had just had a professional like come and install it.
You don't
want
want to
did
take
it
it
the
out
right
yourself.
way.
You didn't have a car seat in both cars?
Honestly, at the time, I was really,
Your
at
husband was
work
never
all the
driving
time.
him. Okay.
Yes, and when he drove him, we would like switch cars. He had
Gotcha.
he had one, but it was like not the good one.
Okay, gotcha.
It was like a cheaper hand me down. Like I had like the brand new like
You had the safe
Peg
one.
Perigo safer higher rated one.
Yes.
Right.
And your baby is the star of the movie. He needs to come in style.
Of course.
He needs to be in that
He
safe
needs to be
car
in that
seat.
good
Yeah,
car
he's a
seat.
VIP.
So again, I already get this like feeling like, you know, that intuition where you're like, don't do this. But I'm like, oh my God, if I bail the night before, like I'm so screwing up production. But I'm like, crap, okay, fine. I'm just gonna rally. Like it's one day, it's not that big of a deal. We'll get the money and go. And so I do the math and it's 60 miles. Like 50 or 60 miles to set. And I'm like, oh my God, like shit. And I have 80 miles, like 85 miles on the car, right? So I asked production, like, is there a place to plug in my car when I get there? I explain that I have an electric car, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, yeah, there is. Everything should be fine.
Okay.
I start driving. What I don't realize, because I'm new to having an electric car, that it's like 85 miles if like you're going like at a normal, like normal conditions.
Yes.
If you're going uphill in wind, if like it's really hot and the AC's on, like there's a lot of conditions that can like drop your mileage super fast.
Yes. Everyone who's had an early electric car has had to learn this the hard way.
Right.
Yes.
Like this is so obvious now. I know I sound like a complete
No, you don't. No, you don't. If it says
Yes.
85 and you have to go 60 miles, you think, okay, I have 15 miles left.
Totally.
I get it.
I was like a brand new, I had the car like 2 months. I hadn't done any like big journeys yet. Like now I'm my third electric car and it's like, yeah, obviously, like if I'm going to like drive to Palm Springs in 100-degree heat and go like, 80 miles per hour, like I'm going to like burn through. But like I just didn't know.
Right.
So anyway, I'm driving and I realized like, and I'm going uphill and there's like desert winds coming at me. I have the AC going for my baby and I'm realizing I'm not going to make it. Like
it's such a panicky feeling.
Yeah, but I'm like already kind of like halfway there and I'm like, I don't know what to do. So I start trying to like Google electric chargers, blah, blah, blah. There's supposedly one off like Pyramid Lake, like this exit where there's like a lake and boating. And I'm like, okay, great. I show up. It's like total ghost town.
Yeah.
There's like the remnants of what was once like an electric charging station. And I'm like, fuckity fuck. I have the charger with me and there's like a visitor center. I'm like, maybe if I just like, I literally pulled my car up onto the curb, like not a parking spot, like aggressively brought my car like into the visitor station.
Yes. Do you have a place I can drive my car inside?
Yes. And this woman is like, what is happening? And I'm like, I need to charge my car. I have a baby. And she's like trying to help me, but the charger is not long enough. It's like almost long enough.
Oh, God.
But not.
You can't drive closer.
No, I'm like literally like in like minus like driving through a wall. I'm like as close as I can get to like the entrance.
Oh, but it still won't reach.
It still won't reach to the outlet that's inside the visitor center.
Oh, inside. I got it. Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
I'm like aggressively just trying to like put my car inside of a building. Right. But it like still won't fit.
You're also
you
like,
have a baby.
And I have a baby and he's starting to get fussy and I'm like, like changing his diaper and like nursing on the side of the road. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to trust that there's some angel on my side and I have enough miles to get there because like I'm feeling like it's really cutting it close. But like, if I I'm just going to try. So we leave and of course the address they give me is like wrong and like not like I cannot find it. So I pass set and I'm just in the desert. Just in the desert. And I'm like, where is this place? And I'm getting so stressed out. And it's like going, like it's like making these weird sounds. And it's like, I can like see it going like 10 miles, like 5 miles. And I'm like, if I can just get to set, if I can just get now I'm like, all I want to do is get to set. Because I just want to plug in my car. And it just dies. It's just like, and that's it. My car's done. I'm in the middle of the desert. I'm like a pioneer woman now, standing. There's like tumbleweeds going by. It's like hot desert winds. I take him out of the car seat. He's crying. I'm like literally just
this
like
is terrifying.
talk about Raising Arizona. Like I am I am the movie Raising Arizona.
You're the real
standing
movie.
on the exactly standing on the side of the road, and I'm just like filled with shame. I'm just like, what have I done? Like, he doesn't deserve this. I'm the worst mom on the planet. I'm like trying to give him like any of the leftover snacks I have.
Oh, God.
I'm literally like sitting on the side of this desert road with like my tit out, just like nursing him. And I'm calling Sat and I'm like, I don't know where I am. Like, my car is dead. You need to like come find me. So then finally they come with a Sprinter van and they're like, sorry, we had other people also have issues with the location. And I'm like, oh my God, if you had other people have issues, like why didn't you call the person coming with the goddamn baby?
You're the problem.
And be like, some people have gotten lost, like the address doesn't populate because you know why? The address was like a dirt mountain. The address was nothing. It was like nothing. Literally, it was like a mountain. It was just like no man's land. Like we were shooting in like a hill,
Right.
like a dirt hill. And I was like, well, of course, like. So anyway, and the whole irony of like me not wanting to like touch the car seat that was professionally installed, I'm now just like in a Sprinter van with a loose baby, like rolling around in my arms. Because I was like, I don't even know how to like get it out of the car.
Okay, so now you're holding it.
So now I'm just holding him in like a Sprinter van, like driven by some like rogue PA.
Right.
You know what I mean?
He's probably high.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
Like, who's like some other Minion student that's like been roped into like this cult of a film,
right.
You know
It's all
I mean?
acting students.
Yeah, it's totally 100% literally. And I'm like, and it's just getting so bad. So then they take me up to set, and some other PA like goes.
So your car is just on the side of the road at this point,
and I've like literally like had to call AAA to get my car towed to a charging station. And I'm so mad, and I'm like trying not to cry, but I'm on set, and I'm like, everything's fine. But I'm like, can feel that catch in my throat.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just want to get this over with, like, so bad. But set was like, again, like we'd only done really fancy stuff. And I just assumed that he would do things by the book, like, because it's not just like there's California child labor laws, like you have to have a studio teacher and a nurse, and there has to be like, you know, all these things in place. None of that was there. It was just a mountain and me and my baby and no way out because my car was towed.
Yeah, you're trapped there.
I was trapped. And I was like, there was like no shade. There was like nowhere for me to like put him down. I'm just like carrying him everywhere because if I put him down, it would be like rattlesnakes and like, you know, like
tumbleweed,
like just
in his mouth.
Like I literally, like I couldn't even, and he's not walking. He's like, you know, in the like
cruising,
sort of crawling, cruising stage.
Well, they didn't give 1 second thought to you're bringing a baby.
No.
And they didn't put up a tent that you could go into the shade.
No chairs.
I'm
unacceptable.
Livid. And all I want to do is be like, fuck you, I'm out, but I have nowhere to go. I'm like trapped and like waiting for my car to charge.
Unbelievable. And it probably would take
And I'm like, why did I even want to go green? Fuck this. Like, if I had a gas car, none of this would be happening. This is what I get. And like, no good deed goes unpunished.
Right.
Like, now I'm like the worst mom on the planet. And I'm like, all right, let's just do this. Like, let's just get this done. And then this is what I get for not reading the script. So it's like, he is a kidnapped baby, fine, great. By this gay couple, fine, still great. One is in like complete drag in this crazy outfit. Okay, still fine, great. But then the main scene is he's like loose in the car while this couple is fighting, and he's watching them fight, and then it turns sexual and it's a blowjob and the baby's watching the blowjob.
No, what?
Yes.
Oh no!
And they had to have the baby.
They literally.
They can't cut to the baby without.
Like they're like just filming it all sort of kind of. I mean, they're not filming the blowjob exactly, but they're like miming that part of it.
Yes.
And like my baby is like literally like just like loose in this beater car, standing up, like holding onto the steering wheel. And I'm like trying to get him to like look over here and like smile and laugh. And like he's just like, and I was like, oh my God, my husband is going to kill me.
Right.
Like if he finds out like what I've agreed to and done.
Oh, no.
I've never seen the movie. I don't even want to know like what it was. And then like, I mean, yes, it was like all these things. It was like, and then they wanted him to be like asleep, like loose in the back seat. And it was like so many tall asks.
How do
of,
you
like,
get a baby to
9-month-old.
go to sleep?
I somehow like did. I like walked around until he was like sleepy, and then like gently like laid him like in the back seat. And then there's like an anyway.
So obviously the car is not ever in action. It's always parked, right?
It's always parked.
Okay. Because
But, like-
loose baby, those are scary words. Loose
Totally.
baby.
Totally.
Yeah.
It was honestly like the most traumatic thing. And then finally like this PA comes and like drives my car back. But of course she drove the car back from the charging station with like the parking brake on.
Oh,
and the
my
car
God.
smells like burnt rubber.
Oh my God!
And I literally the second my car came back, I was like, take me down the mountain, because you couldn't, and there was nowhere. I don't even know why they said I could plug in my car, because
There was just a mountain.
there was just a mountain.
There was no inside. There was no
No.
inside. So what? Yeah. What
I don't even know what they were. I don't know. Again, like just
Did your
Honestly,
car get fully charged?
You would have been treated better in a cult,
for sure,
Yeah.
right? Like
For
Keith
sure.
Raniere would have, I think, been a better
Oh, yeah,
bet
yeah.
than this
Yes.
There would've-
director.
yeah.
that
And in
she
the
was-
end, like he got like $200.
Oh, I'm so mad for
College
you.
account.
That was it?
Yes, and I drove home like sobbing, and I literally was just like so mad at myself mostly, but also so mad at like my attempt to go green and feeling like I just like it's not worth it. So mad at my acting teacher. I wound up
funny.
actually quitting a couple months later
Good.
because I was like so
I was going to say,
disillusioned.
did you say anything to him? Was he was on set, right?
I wound up saying something to him like much later. He invited me to the
film premiere.
and then wanted me to like sign some more papers for distribution for something, and I was like, you know, I just have to say I think this was actually like a really traumatizing experience for me, and I was too embarrassed to speak up at the time, but like I can say it now, like that I think that like
Good.
yeah, and I kind of like let him have it over
Good.
email a little bit.
Good.
Yeah.
How did he react?
I mean, he didn't take a lot of liability, but he was like, I understand where you're coming from, and, you know, thanks for your support, and, like,
I understand where you're coming from.
very male.
Yeah.
right.
I didn't do anything
typical
wrong.
Response.
Oh, she's just an hysterical mother.
You should be cooler
Yes.
about me being an asshole.
Yeah, for sure.
Here's what I want you to do. If your son ever sees this movie,
Oh, my God.
I want you to
my
say that paid for your entire college education.
Yes, I know. I
There
need
you
to
go.
lie.
Good
I
twist.
need to lie.
Good twist.
Yes.
And did your husband ever find out? Did you ever tell him what the scene was about?
No.
Oh, so if he listens to this podcast, this is the first time he's going to hear about
We're actually separated.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's totally fine. I'll come back on and do a whole podcast about surviving divorce. I'm just not quite there yet.
Yeah, no, I understand.
But there's a lot of content, and it's pretty funny.
A lot of content.
A lot of content. 2023 is the year of content.
Oh, gosh.
No, but like in a good way. Like
Yeah.
in a like, oh wow, this is a wild Mr. Toad's Wild Ride content.
Wow.
No, I never told him because I just knew it
No, you're
wouldn't.
smart.
Yeah.
It wasn't worth adding
you
the shame bucket.
Right. You just told him
I
about
told him
the
about the
car.
car.
Yes.
And like, you know, how frustrated I was and blah, blah, blah. And like how the movie was like a really bad experience, but I never like explained that like he was
specifics.
watching a blowjob in the movie.
Well, it also wasn't a real blowjob. It was a simulated blowjob.
It was a simulated
Right.
blowjob.
And in your defense, I mean,
In your defense, you didn't read the script.
in your
I
defense,
did not read the script.
I did not read the script. I mean, listen, I certainly, as a new mom, was out of my mind.
Totally.
Being organized, like not being together or organized
Yeah.
and feeling
Yeah.
completely like I didn't know. I still feel like that just in general. And I think I will the rest of my life. Like I don't have it together. But like specifically not reacting how I wish I would in the moment.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that might be
Yeah.
specifically more of a female thing because we don't feel
Oh, for sure.
allowed to have the boundaries we're supposed to when somebody's not behaving properly towards us. It's hard for us to put our foot down immediately.
Yes.
Because we're also, I think, in shock that it's happening. And
Right.
So
I was in shock. And yeah, like
you're
I
just
said,
kind of like, is this a... Or we don't feel a right, maybe, to our own anger. So when it's happening, you keep going, this is wrong, right? This is wrong. I think this is wrong. Yeah, I should
Right.
like that happens to me a lot where I go, but I question it.
Yes.
I go, am I crazy? This isn't right.
Yes.
And then later I look back and go, damn it, I wish I would have done this, that, and the other.
100%.
So
yeah.
I don't, when I hear that, I feel like I probably would have done the same thing. Like I don't have a good tendency to step in and at the moment and go, no, this isn't right. I'm not doing this,
Yeah.
or this doesn't feel right to me. I think now I'm much better about it.
Me too.
But I had to get older and less worried about other people's.
Me too. I give so much less fucks now. I think at the time, and I think motherhood made it that way. But
Yeah.
I think I was right in that like limbo, that like liminal state of like becoming a mom that like, I mean, look, my bracelet says fuck off right here. Like
Yeah.
I'm just like,
And you're showing up a set already going through this actually really kind of terrifying experience
Yeah.
alone with a baby who you haven't been a mom to for very long. You're still
Right.
like
A
you're
new
going
mom.
through all these stages with a new baby, which is like every week it's like you start to feel like you have mastery over something, and then the next week it changes with the baby.
Yeah.
Right.
We're like, oh, I figured out the whole like she wants to feed every 3 hours, and then it's like, nope,
Right.
no, she doesn't. It's 2 hours
I
now.
switched it
up.
Haha, and now I vomit all the time. And you're like, wait, you vomit all the time now?
Yeah, that's my thing.
That's what I
Mom.
do this week. Oh, next week I'm going to shit all the way up to the back of my neck.
yeah. I also think that like by the time like that little nagging intuition of like this isn't a good idea had gone full throttle, and I was like, I'm out. There was no out because I didn't have
Yeah.
my car.
Right.
So I was like, well, now
Jesus.
I'm emotionally at the point where I'm like, I'm ready to walk away, and I couldn't.
Was
Yeah.
that the last gig your son did?
No, because I'm a terrible person. But like,
Is
no.
he young Sheldon?
No, but I was extremely picky after
No,
that.
I was gonna say don't feel.
only union, like it was like only stuff that was like a big payday or whatever.
No, honestly, my son is 16. He's a junior. I wish to God we had put him in commercials as a baby. I think it's a really brilliant idea because it's great money for college. And then, you take them out before they're
Right.
conscious of what's going on.
Right.
So they're not an actor kid.
The truth is too, also I think that's the last time he ever did like a narrative or like someone's feature. Like I just wanted the commercial money. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Or like a print, like whatever, just something really like lucrative
Yeah.
and easy. Like no more like, yeah, I don't think he ever did like someone's like independent film or like, ever again.
And with the second baby, has he done any work or is he not cute? Oh, you never know.
Amazing. He's done a little bit as well. He's like, he actually wants to be on camera. He's that kid that's like, take a picture of me, take a video of this.
Oh, it's the new generation.
But he's like, as much as he's like he's the comedian in the family, and he's like such a performer, but he's also wild. So it's like, it's just hard. I mean, him on set seems really stressful
He's
because he
5,
doesn't
right?
take direction. Yeah.
Yeah. This was a delight.
Such a fun story.
Thank you for having
An
me.
amazing
Yes.
story. Very, you know what? Fuck being green. That's
Fuck
what,
being great.
right?
No, I mean,
Who cares?
oh man, we're just gonna go to Mars, guys.
There you go.
Yeah, it's all going to get figured out. We're all going to move on Mars. So order everything on Amazon and don't recycle.
Right.
The end.
Ta-da!
Lara, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
And we will be right back with What Did We Learn Today?
Make this new school year an opportunity for your kids to learn important life skills with Greenlight. Greenlight is a debit card and money app for families where kids learn how to save, invest, and spend wisely while parents keep an eye on kids' money habits. Greenlight also helps families get into their fall routine with a chores feature that lets parents assign chores and pay kids' allowance when they check them off. Get your first month free at greenlight.com/Wondery. Greenlight.com/Wondery.
This podcast is brought to you by eHarmony, the dating app to find someone you can be yourself with. Why doesn't eHarmony allow copy and paste in first messages? Because you are unique, and your conversations should reflect that. eHarmony wants you to find someone who will get you. How are you going to know who gets you if people send you the same generic conversation starters they message everyone else? Conversations that actually help you get to know each other. Imagine that. Get who gets you on eHarmony. Sign up today.
Kristine.
Yes.
Are you ready to learn what we learned today?
I can't wait, to be honest.
Okay. Descanso Gardens is a 150-acre botanical garden located in La Cañada, Flint Ridge, Los Angeles. It features a wide area mostly forested with artificial streams, ponds, lawns, and more influencers than should be allowed in one place.
One sleeping child.
Dance like no one's watching except your mortified child. Dabbing is the term used to describe the act of vaporizing cannabis concentrates for consumption, and dabs are the concentrates. Have a good darn day. Is that a knitting joke?
I think it's from the voicemail.
It's from the voicemail.
Oh, it's from the voicemail.
Have a good darn day.
But also darn your socks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was back to Alex and her, but it wasn't. Anyway, in her knitting.
Yes. She crochets, but that's okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I know there's it's
very different.
It's like Episcopals and Protestants. I'll never know the difference, so they're the same thing to me.
Oh, I think one does
knitting
one thing and one does the other thing. But, we don't know much about it.
I don't.
What a delightful time we've had today.
Such a delight.
Gosh, I've had fun. Haven't you?
So much fun.
I can't wait to have more fun with you.
Next time.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Right.
Until next time.
Remain calm.
Please do. I didn't say it with you.
That was wrong.
Oh, I feel
I didn't like it.
sick inside. Let's try that again. Until next time,
Remain calm.